Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've been talking about the most average Pokemon of every generation of every single type, and today it's time to talk about some ice types. But I did want to just take a quick moment, and if you have a problem when I take a quick moment, you can skip ahead a minute or two. I'll be really brief. If you're watching this video, I believe if this video doesn't do it, the one that came out prior to this one, which was the electric type video, got us to YouTube partnership. The two things you have to do to get to YouTube partnership is a watch hour requirement and a subscriber requirement. 1,000 subscribers got us that requirement, and now I believe, because we're only I think a few watch hours away as of Friday night, with a video coming out on Saturday and this one coming out on Monday probably. This is really awesome that we're going to potentially be a YouTube partner and actually be able to earn some money. We also have memberships available on the channel, super chats, things along those lines. I will start rolling out these videos as members only before they come out live for you guys. So members will get everything first. If you're interested in getting a membership to the channel, you are welcome to do that. That is enabled. And I will put that as a membership perk that members will get every video early. I'll set everything from members only to public as soon as I get my first member. So if that's something you guys are interested in doing, you can. That is also available to you. So let's go ahead and talk about some ice types now. Thank you for bearing with me. I am really excited about all the great things going on this channel. Almost at 1,030 subscribers already, when it took us a long time from 900 to 1,000. So we're really at a good pace. We're feeling pretty good, and we're at a consistent rate, and we're just going to keep working, and you know, we're going to continue to grow the channel. So the ice types. There's a lot that are bad, especially in the early gens. I think around Gen 3 is where I start to think ice types are really good. So I'm interested in kind of seeing what I would put on this list, because I usually like to go on these just kind of unscripted and blind is kind of my goal when I do these. So this should go pretty well. Also, I hope the audio sounds better. I am no audio wizard. Anybody who's watched me for a while knows my audio is always trash. I hope this sounds better. I have done some configuring with my audio equipment. At the end of the day, I probably need a better microphone, but I hope this one will work well. So yeah, there we are. What's the most average ice type, though, in Gen 1? It's Cloyster. Everything else on this list, when you really, really look at it, right? When you really look at it, Dugong, in my personal opinion, is underrated, but still bad. And then Lapras, I'm totally not yawning. Articuno, Jinx, I think Ice Psychic is a great type. What Cloyster has going for it is its defense more than anything else, and that's what sets it apart from a bad Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that you get, you're like, it could be worse. That's really what you think when you think about Cloyster. Gen 2 is Delibird. Listen. Delibird, a lot of people would consider to be the worst Pokemon. Sorry, not the worst. One of the worst Pokemon. And it's very well universally loved, thanks to a YouTuber that we all know and love and respect very much so. And I think that's a big reason why Delibird has a soft spot in our heart, including my own. But beyond that, actually, other than Present, which is, you know, one of the worst moves ever, this thing does learn a lot of TMs. And you can actually give this thing much stronger moves than you think you really can. So I can't really complain about Delibird. I think it's just kind of average. I don't think it's bad. I really don't. For Gen 3, if you really want to talk an average Pokemon, it's Glalie. I love Glalie's design, and I think I've always loved Glalie as a Pokemon. I've always liked using it. It's just so weak defensively. It gets great moves. It unfortunately suffered from the fact that the physical special split didn't exist until Gen 4, because it got a lot of biting moves considering its design. But it did get a lot of good ice moves. It was so fragile. It was so fragile, unfortunately. Adding Frostlass into the Glalie evolution line was an interesting choice. It wasn't one that I really liked, because I thought they could have just made Glalie better. But then they gave Glalie a Mega, and even though that thing looks ridiculous, it is still, you know, pretty cool and a much better version of Glalie than the past. So I can't really... Oh, I'm totally not yawning again. I can't really complain. You know, I think it's a solid Pokemon. Gen 5. Yeah, I think there's going to be a theme where the evolutions that like nobody really uses start to end up on this list, because I just think there's a lot of really, really good Gen 4 ice types. And this is one where it's like, okay, is it better than Leafeon? Yes. The people that heard my Leafeon rant I made before, is this better and more viable and more popular? The answer is yes across the board. Doesn't mean it's the best, though. Doesn't mean it's the best, but it is good. It is good, definitely. Gen 5, most average. You know, its Cryogonal is actually probably the worst. No, it's Vanilluxe. Vanilluxe is basically what you want out of an ice type, where it's just very diverse in its moveset. Just about any special ice type move that exists, you can probably give to this thing. Is it fragile? Yes, that's going to be continuing to be a theme with these ice types, unfortunately, just because they have so many weaknesses. But at the end of the day, I think that having a Pokemon with a diverse moveset in its own type will actually help you in, 90% of situations. Gen 6. So I basically have two choices, or I choose a Mega. So I'm just going to go with Aurorus because Avalugg is actually really good, like everybody knows. This was actually one of the OG physical ice-type Pokemon. This was one of the OG physical ice-type Pokemon. We did not get, Beartic I know exists, but I don't think of Beartic when I think physical ice-type. I think of this. I don't think Beartic was viable back then. Okay, I just said something that's going to make somebody mad in the comments. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but by all means, I still don't think so. But Avalugg was like really, really good and competitive in Gen 6, and it was like the OG, in my opinion, of a physical ice type and what you want. I guess Sneasel too, but nah. Sneasel's problem is its defensive ability is terrible. Gen 7. Yeah, just like kind of how I talked about regular Ninetales, I actually think the Alolan Ninetales, in my opinion, is better. I think that it's more viable. You guys talked a lot. We had a good conversation in the comments on that Fire-type video where everybody agreed that, like, hey, Ninetales can do some really good stuff. The problem is when you have Charizard that you start with or Arcanine is right there, why on earth would you keep it? Then that's basically what happened. And with Alolan Ninetales, I think you can say similar things about. Unfortunately, it's basically very similar from a base stat standpoint. It's very similar from a moveset standpoint. And when you have stuff like this available, I guess, you probably go with that. Or you just don't choose an ice type because ice is not very good in Gen 7. A lot of the island battles don't really help to have an ice type. So that makes a difference as well. Generation 8. To me, and I think you guys are going to disagree with me, to me it's Eiscue. I love Eiscue's ability. I love its design. I love its moveset. The only thing I don't love is how fast it dies. That's all I really have to say about him. But I do really, really enjoy using this Pokemon. And honestly, I've never been disappointed seeing one. For Gen 9, wow. Okay, so can we all agree that like Gen 9 is probably the most stacked Ice-type lineup ever? Baxcalibur, Satitan, Iron Bundle. Which one is that? Is that I forget all of the Ruin Pokemon of Gen 9 because of their names. I know Chiyu is the fish. I think that one's Chenpao. I know Tinglu is the big bulky moose. I think that one's Chenpao. But I guess the answer is Satitan. Like, yes, is Satitan really good? Yes, Satitan is incredible. Okay? So is Iron Bundle. So is Chenpao. So is Baxcalibur. So I'm just going to put Satitan in here. At the end of the day, Satitan's kind of like that middle-of-the-road one, I guess, at the end of the day. Actually, if you really think about it, the standards change when you have such a stacked list to the point where the most middle-of-the-way, middle-ground Pokemon is probably the best. So I'm actually going to put Baxcalibur here because at the end of the day, the Pokemon that is most average would be Baxcalibur because the bar has been raised by the rest of these Pokemon. That's how I look at it. The bar has been raised by the rest of these Pokemon. What's the most average, though? I actually think it's Glalie. Like, when I really consider kind of what an ice type could be, but what it ended up as, but still doesn't disappoint you because it gets a lot of good stuff, I think of Glalie. I really do. That's going to do for the video today. I hope the audio sounded better, guys. And if it didn't, then that's okay. More tweaking. I think part of the thing that I want to do in being a YouTube partner is, one, take quality a little bit more serious. I love the low-effort content like this that is hit record, talk for about 10 minutes, hit stop recording, throw it in an editor, cut it to length, export it, make a thumbnail, upload it. That is a very easy process for me, and it keeps me uploading when things are simple and easy for me, which is good, right? But at the end of the day, I still need to, the things that I can control outside of that, like audio quality, are things I can do something about. So I'm definitely going to work on that. If it means a new microphone, also possible, and if I start making, a little bit of money here and there and from this, I can reinvest it back into the channel because I have a full-time job. And, depending on the amount of money, I'm not going to reinvest a bunch of money, but it is a possibility that I can reinvest it into better equipment and things along those lines in the future. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And let's talk about some average fighting types coming up soon. See you then.